Hi Taurus! I hope that everybody is doing well. Before we get into it, let's set the intention for this to be a space where everyone allows themselves to feel seen and validated, and ultimately for this to be a safe space and a healing space in alignment with everyone's highest good. So I'm seeing something about you feeling anxious about setting boundaries. Maybe the prospect of which is bringing anxiety to you. I don't know if this is something that regularly occurs, or maybe a particular situation is bringing this about for you. Maybe it's about who the particular person is that you're dealing with when it comes to setting boundaries. I'm seeing that this is necessary. But yeah, maybe just recognize you feel uncomfortable setting boundaries too, and this is something you're working on. Karma. What's happening? I'm seeing a wish fulfillment here. The Wheel of Fortune is like feeling like luck is on your side, especially related to what you want. This is like double Jupiter energy, because this is Jupiter in Pisces, and this represents Jupiter here. And we're looking at the Ten of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck, related to your stability, money, even. Like something really going your way here is what it looks like. Feeling like a lucky streak, Taurus. Is this related to something creatively you're doing? Something you're doing with work, even? Creatively doing something? Something financial? It's like, is something successful, maybe even some type of business venture? You could be linking up with someone and working with them. It's like, you do this part, I'll do that part. Or this can just be you embracing these two different aspects of yourself to bring them into working together. I'm seeing the color light blue holding a significance for you. Now I'm seeing three. 3 out of the 4 kings here. Maybe you feel, too, like no matter what happens, you're going to be calm and you're going to figure it out. It's like no matter which way the wind blows and how the universe lays things out, there's a sense of like being calm about it, being collected about it, because you know that like some of it is beyond your control. Because it feels too like you're confident, like I'm doing as much as I can right now, and so anything that happens beyond my control, I just have to be okay with that. It's beyond my control. And it looks like you wished to start something new, and whatever this thing is new that you're starting, I'm seeing you go ahead and doing it here. It really does feel like something creatively now, with the Empress on the bottom of the deck and the Page of Wands and the King of Wands here. It's like some type of creative expression, using like the fire motivation within your chart, because fire is like action, creativity, making things happen. I'm also hearing something about announcing something. I'm seeing something about this person's like head wrap or headscarf, something like that. What's this about? You feel conflicted, but you're working it out for yourself. It seems too like you may have a different style than somebody else that you're working with. Again, this can be two different aspects of you. It's like one part of you wants to rush ahead and do things this way, and like it's all about the creation and the drama and the like magnificence, and then another part of you is like, well, how are we going to make money doing this? You know what I mean? So it's like you over here having conversation with yourself, or this is you and another person doing the dance together. It's like you're kind of having a bit of a disagreement, but you're also kind of trying to resolve it here. It's related to something new that you're doing or something that you've continuously been working on. something that you do feel excited about. Like that feeling of inspiration is here. You want to be balanced. So is the reason that you're not worried about how things are going to turn out because you have faith that, like, in the grand scheme of things, everything is going to be karmically balanced? This is what that feels like to me. It's like everything is happening as it's meant to happen, and any, like, impact or consequence is also meant to happen as well. So there's a sense of you, like, going for something here. It feels too like you adopting this attitude changes something for you as well, and maybe it's how you pursue things that you want to be pursuing. It feels like you're also developing a part of yourself that may be more expressive and more creative, and there may have been times where you kind of held yourself back from doing this, but it kind of feels like, again, you're developing this part of yourself more fully, because it's something that you could always, like, have an awareness was there, but it's something that maybe for certain reasons you didn't completely tap into, and now it feels like you're just, like, investing in this more than you had been before, like playing around with it, exploring it. I'm getting development again for the third time. I'm seeing this be an important word here. And now we're working together. So you could be working with someone outside of yourself, collaborating with someone. However, you could also be, as much as this can be you working with someone, it can also be you working with yourself, because I'm seeing, like, the Three of Pentacles fell over Scorpio over here. And we all have Pluto somewhere in our chart. We all have the house of Scorpio, the 8th house. This is about you working with yourself as you undergo a transformation, being patient with yourself, developing this, like, financially, like, fiscally responsible aspect of yourself, and also the creative aspect of yourself. And to see so much, like, masculine energy here, which all of us have, yin and yang, it's part of every single being. This is about, like, how you are exerting and expressing yourself. It's like, how are you getting things done on the financial front? How are you creating stability for yourself? How are you being patient? How are you working with yourself? How are you working with others? How are you doing things creatively? How are you able to express yourself in ways that feel into channels that allow the energy to come through? It's like, rather than, I'm seeing sometimes, like, maybe creatively you feel like you want to express yourself, and there's something that kind of, like, blocks the channel of expression, and there's a sense of you, like, being persistent and working through this so that you can, like, properly express yourself now and allow that to flow through. It seems like whatever this thing is that you've been working on currently, whether this is, like, your own personal project or you working on yourself, like, whatever your focus primarily has been on recently, I'm seeing that it's part of a very big change for you and a transition that you're going through, especially in, like, developing who you are. And different aspects too, because this feels like you're really trying to cultivate yourself in a well-rounded way, rather than just focusing on, like, maybe just what you feel comfortable with. It's like these other areas of your life or yourself that want to be heard or want to express themselves, and, like, kind of allowing that to happen now. I'm looking at Jupiter, I'm looking at Sagittarius, I'm looking at Libra, and I'm looking at Scorpio. There may be a collaboration that's developing, but you have to be patient with it to come about. Like, it's not something that you can rush into. Looking at the Six of Pentacles. Two of Wands. Where are we going? I keep seeing Neptune on the bottom of the deck. It looks like you are making your way towards where you're going to find compensation for what you're doing. This can be energetically, this can be financially, within a relationship, within a business. Like, this is the plan. It's like for you to both feel like you're being compensated, for you to feel connected, I'm also hearing, and for you to be pursuing what feels fulfilling to you. This is the direction, this is the plan. There's something also too about, like, you are going to feel compensated for what you're doing if you are doing something that you love and something that you feel passionately about, because it's not really about, in a way, it's not really about, I want to say this is not about negating financial responsibility, because obviously on a plane, like, finances exist, and so we do need to take that into consideration. However, there are also planes where, like, finances do not exist, and it's about, like, energetically wanting to feel compensated. And what it feels like to me is that, like, it's important to both keep your feet on the ground and be like, yes, I do need, like, money to an extent, and I do need to, like, provide myself and, like, those I care for, and, like, those I'm responsible for with shelter and, like, all of that stuff. But there's also something, and I mean, like, I feel like earth signs just naturally, like, have the understanding of, like, money and boundaries and 3D things. So this feels like an expansion when it comes to, like, spiritually, you being in a place where you're like, it's not just about money now, it's not just about my security, it's not just about things in the 3D, it's also about me feeling fulfilled emotionally and spiritually. And that's what I'm seeing this concerning now. So as I said before, we're not negating, like, the financial aspect of it, but it seems like right now what we're specifically focusing on is this, like, energetic piece here about, like, you're going to feel good about what you're doing when you are doing something that you feel good about. And so, like, the things about being compensated and all of that stuff where people get burnt out, it's like this kind of goes out the door because you care about what you're doing and you feel fulfilled by what you're doing. So that's how you feel compensated, that's how you feel fulfilled energetically. And it really does feel like something that you're looking at differently now than you had been before. Because maybe before it had been about, like, your financial security and things like that, and those were things that you were concerned with and things you needed to connect with. And now it's like, well, what comes after that? What more is there for me to develop? What about my spirituality? What about my sense of fulfillment? What about these other things that are just as important, yet not so tangible? However, I feel them just as much. You know what I mean? Maybe there was also a point in time where you were not really sure what would feel fulfilling to you. And I mean, isn't that something that all of us question too, about, like, what it's going to take and where is it and where are we trying to go? Where are we even going? This feels too like a little bit of a puzzle. I feel like your guides are challenging you. There may be a situation that calls for you to make a decision about, like, whether or not you want to participate in something, whether or not you want to take an offer, things like that. And if you do not immediately feel like you have the answer for it, this is about you understanding that that's also a message. It's like, if you're not getting a yes or a no and you don't know what to pick, that's also a message for you. So it's like, if you're feeling like a bunch of different things and someone's like, well, are you going to make a decision? It's come time. And you're like, I still don't know how I feel about that. Again, that's a message. So it's kind of like not getting an answer is an answer, sentiments like that. Anecdotes. So it's like, if you feel unsure, why are you pressuring yourself to make a decision? This is too, you could get some sort of communication, and I mean, this may be like your emotional self communicating with your logical self, or this can be someone outside of you. It's like somebody's unclear with the way that they're communicating with you, and then expect you to make a decision off of it, and you're like, you're not giving me enough here, I need more. Or like, I'm not going to make a decision until this makes sense to me. Or like, we need to work on this to make it more clear. Yeah, something feels kind of fuzzy. And there's a sense of like not understanding like the clear boundaries of it. And so you're like, I can't really make a decision yet, like based off of what I'm getting here. And knowing too that like you don't have to just be stuck with a yes or a no, like you can create more solutions than that and more avenues to take, more directions to go. So it really does feel like this is challenging you to kind of like think outside of the box too. Yeah, you feel confused about something. I'm seeing you like not take an offer and there's a decision that's being made. It really does feel too like something may not feel like healing or wholesome or like on the level of what you want it to be, and so you choose to move away from it because you're like, if I'm engaging in something, it should be bringing me like some type of optimism or groundedness or feel healing or spiritual in nature. And if something is coming through to you and you're like, I can't really make it out completely, and you're not like instantly feeling like vibrationally that something wanted is coming off of what's presenting itself to you, this is also something that it seems like you're paying more attention to as well. And maybe somebody's being confusing on purpose, or maybe a situation is ambiguous on purpose, and this is for you to like really be exercising your discernment. It seems too like you're recognizing both where you are and where you aren't, and understanding like what you can be around, what you can't be around, what feels healing to you, what feels like you grasping like a sense of calm versus you being in situations that don't feel right to you, or that feel like they elicit unnecessary things, unnecessary emotions. This is reminding me too of something like very loosely associated, but I'm being guided to mention this for someone out there. Sometimes when we find ourselves in situations that feel like covertly triggering, we can say, we start having unpleasant thoughts. We start having like intrusive thoughts about unpleasant things. And this can sometimes be a signal to us low key that we're feeling triggered by something. It's like you go in a situation and it's like physically you may not be picking up that like you don't feel okay with something, or like logically you're not picking up that like something isn't okay. It's like everything seems okay, but for whatever reason you keep having thoughts that feel like really unpleasant to you or really triggering to you, or keep bringing you back into a space that like you're becoming upset by. This is something to pay attention to, because people's energy can subtly affect us, and we have to pick up on all of the different ways that our bodies and souls and minds communicate with us. So if you are in a situation, it's very important for you to like register what's going on in your body, to also registering all the thoughts that you're having as well, and like all the emotions that you're feeling, and not to like neglect any of them, to pay attention to everything like on a whole as well. It's like the sum of all of it. So to go over the signs again, I'm looking at Jupiter, Sagittarius, Libra, I'm hearing Virgo, Scorpio, and Pluto. Alright, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everybody for joining. Thank you for tuning in. I'm wishing everybody love and light and healing, and I hope to catch you guys next time.